Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is getting closer to back to college season, at least for some of you guys. I'm on the quarter system, so I personally do not start college until September 24th, which is kind of crazy, but I know a lot of people go back mid-August, whether that be like college or high school. And I got some requests to start doing some of my prep videos slash back to school videos earlier, which is exactly what I'm doing. I already posted 1 or 2 college prep videos, so we're just gonna continue on. And today I want to focus on tech. I feel like technology is such a huge part of literally everything these days, but like specifically in college, I think being set with your tech is really important. So we're gonna do all things tech in today's vlog. First, I want to start off by just telling you guys like what my suggestions for tech would be. Especially, I feel like I get a lot of questions on like if I would recommend a laptop or an iPad, and also just like headphones, what I would recommend. So I'm gonna give you guys like my personal favorite products and what worked for me, but keep in mind things work differently for different people with different experiences, so it's kind of up to you. For my first year of college, I personally had a MacBook and an iPad, and to be completely honest with you, if I didn't do YouTube and like the work that I do, I'm pretty sure I would just use an iPad, but I do all of my editing on my laptop, so I kind of need the MacBook. But if you just need an electronic to take notes, study, annotate things, all of that type of stuff, you really only need an iPad. But at the same time, if you feel like you don't need an iPad to take notes on, like with an Apple Pencil and stuff, and you prefer to type notes, or you prefer to type and like handwrite and paper, a laptop also gets the job done. I know a lot of people say there's other brands that they would recommend for college and like for different majors. I'm personally a media industries and communications major and a marketing minor, and a MacBook has been perfectly fine for me. I've taken like a coding class, science classes, writing classes, like I've taken a variety, and all the platforms I've been able to use on my MacBook. So if you already have one from high school, there's no problem with bringing it into college. Okay, another big thing in college, headphones are a must. Whether you're at the gym, walking to class, hanging out in your dorm, like I feel like I'm always wearing some type of headphone. When I graduated high school, I got the AirPod Maxes as a graduation gift. I really like these. I wear these all the time when I'm editing, walking around. They're noise canceling and they're really nice. I also have a pair of AirPod Pros, like the regular AirPods, and I also really like those, especially when I don't want to wear a whole set of headphones, if that makes sense. And specifically, if you can get noise canceling ones, obviously the AirPod Maxes are not the only noise canceling ones. They are a lifesaver when you're trying to just study and focus. So that's an overview of the tech that I used last year that worked really well for me, and I would highly recommend for you guys as well. Okay, in preparation for next year, I wanted to do a little tech refresh, specifically with my iPad, because I don't know how well it shows up on camera. My case is so just like dirty and kind of worn out, and I feel like with the new school year, just kind of doing a tech refresh, it always is nice, and I have some new accessories for it, which I'm excited to put on. And I genuinely don't know how my case got so dirty. I feel like it's not like showing up on camera for you guys, but it is so busted on literally every side of it. Basically, this old regular case was pretty dirty. It had limited viewing angles and it lacked any stable support at all. So we're gonna fix these issues with my new case and its flexible and stable stand design. I do want to thank ESR for sponsoring this portion of today's video and for sending me these products. ESR is the place to shop for tech accessories, and I have 2 products to show you guys today. We have their Shift magnetic case and their UltraFit Armorite Pro screen protector. So we're gonna go ahead and install these. There are 5 different ways that this case can transform the way that you use your iPad. Whether you're just viewing your iPad, typing on your iPad, mounting it vertically or magnetically onto like a fridge, writing or taking notes, or playing games, this case can literally do anything. It has strong magnets and wide support brackets to ensure an extra stable stand no matter where you are. You can use the portrait view for browsing or FaceTiming, and it has a detachable back case for a full hands-on access to play games, take notes, etc. And what's cool is that it's magnetic, so you can attach it to your fridge or any magnetic surface to follow recipes while you cook or watch shows. Truly, the possibilities are endless with this iPad case. Also, the screen protector is amazing. It uses Corning glass and it offers 10 times more protection than the generic tempered glass screen protectors. The installation is super easy with this one pull installation system, making it a perfect fit in one pull, and it's bubble and dust free. It also has original touch sensitivity, making it super easy to use the iPad whether you're using your finger or a pencil to write. I'm already so excited for this school year to use these products. They are perfect for back to college, as you can literally use this iPad in any way possible, and I would highly recommend these products. Thank you to ESR for sponsoring this section of today's video. Make sure to go shop their products for this back to school season. I will have them linked in my description down below. Another really important thing related to technology that I used last year that I will continue to use again is Notion. This is not sponsored by them, but you guys were asking to see an updated Notion, and although I didn't really change the layout of everything, everything, I figured I have some new people watching, and also I kind of redid the design of it. So I'm gonna go through it and show it to you guys. It is something that I honestly could not live without or like do school without, and especially for college, I think it is so important that everyone has some type of organizational way to keep themselves on track with everything. And in college, you're kind of more independent, and your professors don't post like due dates for assignments on Canvas for every single thing, or like they don't remind you have tests every single day. That is on you to look at the syllabus when the class starts and like somehow figure out a way to remember when every assignment is due, when you have all your tests and everything like that. Everyone goes about it differently. Some people use like Google Calendar, some people use a physical planner. I personally really like my Notion, so I will show it to you guys. Here is my main page of my Notion. I have other pages for like personal stuff and content. Honestly, I just kind of keep those in tabs here at the top, but mainly I just keep it on my academic page. And as you can see, it is very short. I like to keep things as minimal and like concise as possible because I don't want to have to click through a bunch of things to get to my assignments or to view anything related to my classes. This is what I did. If you guys were watching me last year, you know that I kind of redid the design of this, like the background and the photos and the font. So let's get into it. At the top here, I have a banner. I took this photo actually. This is a photo of our library. It's Geisel Library. It's the main library on campus, and it's like the main architectural feature of UC San Diego, and I think this picture is so pretty, so I put that there. And also I learned from a TikTok recently that you can use like images for these little icons. Like last year I had the little Triton emoji. If that makes sense, I'll put it on the screen. But I thought you could only have emojis here, but you can actually upload images. So I put this photo of me and my roommate. This is Grace. We were roommates last year. We're gonna be roommates again, and I love her, so we're gonna put that there. And then I just have the title Academic Planner. I added this here. I just saw it on Pinterest and thought it was cute. It just is a little call out of information regarding me. So I'm gonna be a second year this year at UC San Diego, and then my major is Media Industries and Communication, and then I'm minoring in marketing. And then this section is my weekly schedule. So I'm on the quarter system, which means our year is divided into technically 4 quarters, but one of them is the summer. So during the main school year, there's fall quarter, winter quarter, and spring quarter. Each quarter this gets updated, and basically I made this little table. I actually pick classes soon, so we'll get to fill this out somewhat soon. We just have each of the main 5 days of the week. I'll show you guys some drop down options. These were ones that I had for last quarter, last year in the spring. I'll edit these depending on the timing and the titles of all the classes this quarter, but basically I do the little timestamps in these gray boxes, and then for each class it's a different color. And usually I have 2, maybe 3 classes in one day, so I'm not really worried about this filling up, and I just fill it out for the week so that I can just see my schedule at a glance if I have more classes in the morning, afternoon, just having that in general, because I'm not gonna lie, even throughout the whole quarter, each quarter is 10 weeks, sometimes I still don't remember my schedule by the end of it, so having that there right when I go on to here is super nice to look at. And then I have this one column for finals. This is where I just put the date and time of the final for each of the classes just so I could see it at a glance, but I do put it in another section of this little tracker, which you'll see in a second. So yeah, that is the little like schedule section. And moving on to my assignment tracker and my exam trackers, they have nothing in it right now because obviously I'm not in school, but I'll kind of show you guys how it works. Basically at the beginning of each quarter I go into all my classes, look at the syllabus, and I look at the list of like every assignment, every reading, every test, every paper, and when it's due. And I go and I put all of that information into these 2 tables. And there's a little sort feature on right now, but I turn that off when I put everything in. When I have everything in from all my different classes, I'll turn it back on, and then we'll sort it by due date so that all of the assignments will then be organized by what's due the soonest. So for this table I have a few different columns. First, it's a little column here with a checkbox. That just determines if I've done it or not. So when something is done, I'll click the checkbox, and you can see that updates the last column, which is days left. I talked about this before, but last year when I actually made this Notion template, I watched a YouTube video and did literal coding in Notion to make this column. Basically, it tells me how many days left I have until that assignment is due. If I check this box, it shows it as completed. So I have the due date column. Let's just say, for example, something is due in a few days. This column with days left tells me how many days I have until it is due. Let's say I complete it early, I click the checkbox, it switches it to completed. But let's say this assignment was due like yesterday and I didn't do it. This days left turns red and it shows me how many days overdue it is. So basically green means I did it, gray means I have a certain amount of days left, and and red means it's overdue. And the colors are super helpful to help me like visually see what I have to do, but it's just so helpful to like have it tell me how many days I have left versus me looking at the due date and having to do like math to see how many days. Honestly, I think that's like my favorite feature of this whole thing, and it really does keep me accountable for everything on here, so I would highly suggest that feature out of everything. But next to the due date column, we have course. These are the courses I took last quarter, so next quarter when I pick my classes, I'll rename these. All the courses are color coded so that when I put all of the assignments in and it's a huge jumbled list sorted by the due date, I can see like, okay, I have assignments from this class and this class due on this day. And then the name is just where I type what the assignment is. Usually it's like a reading or a discussion board post. And what's actually cool is each of these can become a page. So sometimes if it's a reading assignment, but I have a few different readings to do, I'll type like readings, and then there's this little open section. When you hover over it, you click open and it opens up this whole page, and usually right here I will type what readings are due, or I'll link it if it's a link, and it really keeps it organized because then there's not a ton of text in the actual assignment tracker. And then the last column, like I already talked about, is the amount of days left. I basically have the same layout for my exam tracker here: the check mark, the date of the exam, the course, the name, which usually means either midterm or final, and then how many days left until that exam. And then below that I have my courses tiles. My preference for taking notes is usually digital note taking on my iPad if I can like annotate slides or something that the professor posts. But if it's a class that's easier for me to just type notes, I will put them in these little course tiles. I'm taking one course over the summer right now, which is why I have one title, so I can show you guys how I kind of take notes on here. Basically each quarter I'll have a tile for each course, and I also have one tile here for archive classes. I don't put all of my classes in here, but if there's classes where I have to take it as a series, then sometimes I'll keep the past classes in case I want to reference it in a future class. So in archive classes, you guys can see I just have a few here, and if I go into one of them, for example, I took Com 40 last quarter, this is where all the notes were, and if I click into it, I can look at all of the notes that I took. And basically I can go back and reference these if I need to. So yeah, we have 4 tiles here. These ones are empty. This one's my summer class. There's these little sections here that I low-key forget to fill out, so I don't really use them, but I have a place where I can put my professor's email, a link to the syllabus, and then the year. And below that is where I usually put all of my notes or any just important information related to that course. So I'm currently in this course right now for the summer, so I'll show you guys some of the notes that I've taken. When you click into it, this was week 2, and then there's like a few videos that I take notes on. This is just what they look like. So for my class right now, it's like 4 videos per week, and I take notes off of each video. You can also go on the side of the tabs and kind of navigate it through that, but this is just like what the typed notes look like. Sometimes I'll use different color highlighting and text colors, and for any class that I choose to type notes, they all go in here. I make a separate little page, and it's all organized very nicely. And that is all I have for my academic planner. Like I said, I like to keep it short and sweet. I did change a bit from last year, as I told you guys about this header and my little icon here, but I also chose the like font theme. If you go up in the right hand corner, there's these 3 dots. You can change like your font theme from mono, serif, and default. Usually I just do default, but I decided to switch it up and do mono for this year, which changes it to this kind of like typewriter font. And then I also changed the covers of these courses. Last year I used different like aura pictures from Pinterest as the covers. This year I did different like lace patterns. I don't know, I just thought it was cute. And yeah, that completes my Notion setup for school. I will make a template of this and put it in the description of this video or in a pinned comment so that you guys can make a copy of it and kind of make it your own and use it as well. I would highly suggest this whether you're in college, high school, whatever it may be. Having a Notion setup just to track all of your assignments and things you need to do is so helpful.